What I'm going to do today is I'm going to clarify, so I have 3 hours and break down to the 1 hour, because how many people are excited to hear from Dr. Ed and Norma more? So we're going to get them up here quickly. But the good thing about it is I really have taken a massive and passionate role in helping people clearly understand what the shopping annuity is, but also what it is not. Some people get confused, and they think they know what the shopping annuity is, and they do something that's completely against every single true principle of the shopping annuity. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. What the shopping annuity is, what it's not, and also how to fund your shopping annuity, and completely how not to try and fund your shopping annuity. It might be contrary to some popular beliefs that you've heard in the past, but I can tell you this. What I tell you today is factual, and it's true, and if you take what I teach to heart today, you will not only grow your business, but you will grow your residual income, and you will make more money based upon your own personal purchases than ever before. How many people want that? You guys up for that? Okay, let's talk about that. The shopping annuity, let's give a background of some shopping annuity stuff. Okay? The shopping annuity, and this is about the system of success with the shopping annuity. Now, I just want to be very, very clear up front so you guys know. There's 3 ways we make money, and that's it. 3 ways. First way is when we sell a product. That's called retail profit. And we all make that retail profit, whatever it is, 30 to 50%, with some of the customs being several 100%. But that's instant cash. That goes to you or whoever sells it. All yours. It's not split with anybody. There's no percentage levels. You get 100% credit for anything you sell, exclusive product-wise. Everybody understand that? That's instant cash profit the day you begin. Second way we make money is when you start building a team and they retail product, the volume that they sell, the points, the margins that otherwise would have went into advertising the products and services in the marketplace are now captured and put into a compensation plan to pay you a weekly commission check based upon the volume that not only you sell, but your team infinitely sells. That's the second way we get paid. Everybody, does that make sense to you? So it's your sales in retail profit, but then the second way is your sales and your team sales as far as people go in what's our business volume model, our volume-based commissions, and that can pay you weekly commission checks. Second way. But then the third way is those margins that are rolled into the product that pay BV when you or your people sell a product, they also are still existing in the product you buy for who? Yourself. Now you buy wholesale versus retail, so you save that 30 to 50% when you buy from yourself, but you are still getting the points, the BV, the marketing margins that would have been spent to advertise the product if they did it traditionally, but in here, they use those margins to pay us to talk about the product. How many people does that make sense to? That's what the shopping annuity is. So we're going to talk about how it works and how it's funded, but most importantly, differentiate the right and the wrong way to fund the shopping annuity and build your business utilizing the shopping annuity as one of the 3 ways you make money. Remember, it's only one of 3. Okay, so here's the system of success. Again, let's talk about a background. Martin America's #1 product, it still is today, is our unfranchised business system. It's our unfranchised business system. It's a system for entrepreneurs to create a significant ongoing income while providing consumers with a better way to shop, right? At the heart of this system is our management performance compensation plan. Now, I call it a little differently. Now, it is a management performance compensation plan, but I call it the management performance and shopping annuity compensation plan. This makes it easy for people to understand because the way we get paid on BV for sales is no different than the way we get paid on BV when we buy from ourselves. It's the same compensation structure. Does that make sense to everybody? So when you buy, or any customers buy from you or your team, those points collect towards commission checks and the management and performance and shopping annuity compensation plan, or the MPCP. Same thing, okay? Now, and that rewards each unfranchised owner for changing the way they shop, getting some customers, right? And how they shop for it. So changing habits of purchasing and shopping, okay? So we're gonna talk about that. So let's talk about what an annuity is, so we can kind of show you how a shopping annuity has evolved from this, these concepts. So an annuity is a process by which a fixed payment is made, okay? to you at specific intervals for a specific length of time, but to fund an annuity before it'll start paying you, right? You have to contribute a certain amount of money before payouts to you will begin. Does that make sense? So if a real annuity, you have to put a certain amount of money in, and then you get a certain amount back with interest added, with an investment interest added. That's what an annuity is. Now, when you talk about a shopping annuity works very, very close to the same way. But the difference is this. The unfranchised owner's specified fixed sum payments are not made by legal tender, okay? They are made by essentially time, right? And changed shopping habits. The money that goes into that is the margins that otherwise would never have been available to you, because that's what these companies would have spent on advertising. But now they go back into your business towards commissions, and it creates an ongoing payment, because as you duplicate with other people, that's what creates it similar to an annuity payment back to you, okay? Now, to create the fixed sum payment, you create it by redirecting all your purchases that you're already making through yourself. Now, I'm going to clarify. This says through shop.com to fund your shopping annuity. I'm telling you right now, it's through yourself, because you're all unfranchised owners. The last spot you're going to be shopping to fund your shopping annuity, it's like the last, like it's the final check, right, that you're checking is shop.com. It's the last spot, not the first spot. Meaning, in our business, we have 3 categories of products, right? We have exclusive, we have our exclusive products, and then we have shopping annuity and super IBV products. Then we have our partner stores. In that exact order is how much we get paid based upon the return on investment, meaning the margin of the price of that product comes back to us, highest from the exclusive product dwindles down, and the lowest from the partner stores. So you want to start from the exclusives and then move to the shopping annuity and super IBV, and then fill in the cracks with the shop.com site. Does that make sense? Yeah. So important. It's all about return on investment. What's going to give you the most? I'm going to explain that in a few minutes here. But nonetheless, by performing 4 basic steps in the shopping annuity handbook and ensuring all your partners within your 2 teams do the same thing, you can expect reasonably to get yourself earning $1,500 per week or more ongoing, in perpetuity, essentially, okay? So that's what that is. Now, again, a traditional annuity, you also have to have discretionary income to make these payments. You need to have extra money to invest in an annuity before you can make money out of it. But the shopping annuity, all you're doing is taking the money you would have spent anyway, spending it from yourself, and that is what funds the shopping annuity. So it's the money that you would have already been spending is being captured, and then the margins from that is what's put into this model for you to get paid off of. Right? How many people agree it's easier to take the money you need to spend to survive anyway and redirect it through your own business instead of having to save money and put it into an annuity? How many people believe that's a lot easier, right? Yeah, anybody can do it. It doesn't eliminate people that are in a financial tough spot. Anybody can do it, okay? Now, so essentially it's economic alchemy, because what we're looking at is here, the shop.com advantage allows us to have not only all of these relationships with all these vendors and these products and these services and the sources of all these places, so we give people an opportunity to get and buy anything that they need to survive, but capture the margins that was never available to them before in history. See, you gotta understand, last year, $623 billion was spent in advertisement, in marketing advertisement. Basically, it's called global ad spend. Globally, in the world, $623 billion, more than $500 billion was spent on radio ads, TV commercials, billboards, Google ads, Facebook ads, right? But here's the problem. Very few people make buying decisions based upon ads anymore. How many people agree? When's the last time you watched a commercial beginning to end? With technology, it's not necessary, okay? So because of that, that money is not effective to those marketers, so they're looking for better ways to create money going towards and creating traffic from the people who are really causing buying decisions. See, ads don't cause them anymore. I'll show you the numbers here in a few minutes, I got them. But the majority of people, they make buying decisions based upon their friends' influence, based upon real people that they have relationships with, influence. That's where the power in the marketplace is, and for the first time ever, The margins that used to go toward the hundreds of billions of dollars that used to go towards advertisement are now available to be captured and paid back to real, average, everyday people and entrepreneurs like you and I. It's a giant shift, a huge shift in wealth. And guys, I'm telling you, it's already happening. The company's done $9 billion in business. But we are just scratching the surface because the market we're playing in is over $500 billion a year. So yeah, the company's done good, but we are just getting started. The referral tracking system, Marketing America can track and capture all the purchases from our brands, our stores, and our merchants. When you or anybody you lead to, directly or indirectly, makes a purchase, you get credit for it in terms of this social currency we call BV and IBV. And that accrues towards weekly payout checks, and it's only coming from the margins that would have been spent elsewhere. Meaning, up until the time you get a shopping annuity. If you were to go out and say, buy this mug, and you spend $10 on this thing, the store that sold it made retail profit, probably $3 or $4. Does that make sense? And they're the only ones who made that money. But also, what people don't realize is there's also another margin you're not aware of because it was never available to people like you and I before in our life. And it's the marketing margin that's in the price, the base price, the wholesale price of the mug. There's a part of that cost that company is going to take out and then use to advertise to continue the life cycle of the product. That's what they would have or used to spend on advertisement and marketing. But now we have a model where Market America can capture that margin because they have a more effective way to make people make buying decisions based upon that and then put that into a compensation plan to pay people like you and I instead of having it sucked out of our pocket and lining the pockets of the big executives of the Googles of the world. Google last year made $102 billion off of your back. Because without you going through them and checking your email or using their search, how much would they have made last year? Zero, nothing. So because they're so grateful that they made $102 billion off the backs of the consumers, how big was your check last month from Google? See, they don't have any interest to pay you because their interest is for their shareholders. So they're figuring out a way to manipulate you as a consumer to keep going through their site so that whenever they recommend a product, they get the margin instead of you. It's a big difference. Market America and JR understand that if they can figure out a way, or they understand that by them figuring out the way to be able to capture that margin, instead of tricking you to use shop.com, they pay you to do it. They realize eventually everybody's going to want to do that because who doesn't want to get paid for the influence that they create anyway? Who doesn't want to make profit from that? Does that make sense? Everybody does, okay? So that's what the tracking system does. It allows us to track not only when we go from shop.com out, but when anybody leads to shop.com, how they get there. The company can track that and pay everybody who led the business as far as it goes across country borders. How many of you guys would love to have happen to you what happened to me last night? Literally, I fell asleep 1:30. I woke up 7:30, richer than when I fell asleep. How many of you would like to have that happen? Yeah, because you know what happened? Around 3 o'clock in the morning our times, 8 o'clock in the UK. We have team members in England. They got up and created business, volume, margins, went into my commission banks towards checks for me while I was turning over. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's what it's all about, okay? The margins that you lead to, you should be earning that because you're the one leading to it, okay? So, it's an idea whose time has come. With this tracking mechanism, and guys, I know, listen, when we get up here and start ranting a little bit like this, it almost sounds like we're trying to hype you up. I'm telling you right now, this is happening with or without any one of us. I'm not trying to hype up anybody. I've watched a company go from about 50 million a year to close to $1 billion a year. Now, I bought into the process, and that's the only reason why I get a nice little chunk of what they generate into my bank account. I bought into it. I understood it, and then I took action to share that vision with other people. But I'm telling you right now, what we've done from then till now is but a scratch on the surface of the scratch of what's coming. Because you have to understand, yeah, the company's done well, but there's going to come a time, I call it the tipping point. And there's going to come a time. Well, right now we have a few million customers and a few 100,000 unfranchised owners. We have enough leverage, we have enough what's called collective consumer influence, if you want to get technical about it. We have enough collective consumer influence to make companies pay us commissions when people go through us. That they can make a commission plan to pay out millions and millions and millions of dollars, or really several billion has been paid out since the company started. But what's going to happen is, we're only a small piece of the pie because our influence is not at that point where those companies that are spending hundreds of millions or hundreds of billions on advertisement, they're going to realize once we get to this tipping point where the numbers are high enough, and they realize we have more influence directly with people than any ad they can ever place and spend their money on. When that happens, it's a certain number of people. It's how big, the company's got to get to a certain size. No one really knows the number. But when it gets to that size, instead of a small fraction of the margins these companies are paying for advertisement going into our compensation plan, the mass majority does. And that's when they pour money on top of this model. And that is a time that JR's talked about where you thought he was completely full of it. Let's be honest. You thought he was off his rocker when he says there's going to come a day when people are begging to shop through you and they are begging you to be in your business. It's the tipping point. It's coming. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what the numbers are going to be, but I'm telling you right now, when consumers realize they can get paid for the influence that they've been getting ripped off of their entire life, and now there's a way for them to get that is captured for them, they are not going to shop anywhere else but through themselves. How many people do you understand that? Do you get it? Do you believe it? Am I talking to myself? Right? You understand? Now let me do something real quick. I want everybody that has a child, how about this? Everybody who has a grandchild over 18, stand up. Everybody has a grandchild over 18 years old, stand up. Grandchild over 18. Or great-grandchildren. Grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Okay, great. Anybody in here have children over 18? Stand up. Children over 18. Look around. How many of you are going to have children that are going to be over 18 in the next 3 years? You stand up too. Next 3 years. Now here's the point I want to make. This right now is the point where you can change their life forever. I want you guys to understand this. This is the time that you can change their life forever by getting them out to understand what a shopping annuity is and how it works. Now I understand your kids are going to listen to you, or your grandkids are going to listen to you as much as my kids listen to me. But your number one thing that you have to figure out a way to do is you got to get them in front of someone else that's around their level, right? Of age or success or whatever, or age and experience, but understands this and introduce them to this and let them explain it to them. You guys can not only change your business personally completely forever, but you can change their life forever because they're going to get this because they're seeing it happen all over the place. How many of you are committed right now to bring your grandkids, your kids out to understand what this is all about, understanding? You guys in? Get them here. Thank you. That's really what it's all about. That takes it to a whole other level. Okay? But because, guys, it's an idea whose time has come. Listen, I know what some of you're thinking. My kids won't listen to me for nothing. My grandkids won't have nothing to do with this. They think it's just my little business before. Let me talk to them. Let Nick Friday talk to them.
They gonna listen.
That's right. You understand what I'm saying? Let some of the people that, listen, we grew up with the stuff. And they're growing up with it now. And they're going to see it. You just got to bring someone else that can relate and let them do it. And I'm telling you, it'll change your life and the rest of your business. Because this is a idea whose time has come. Basically, because of this tracking system, because it's trackable, and the companies have been doing this forever with Google, but now it's available to who? Us. We can convert those margins into an ongoing income for you and your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids. It forces the prices down once you get to a certain point, but then once it gets to a point where we have the lowest prices, then it increases the margins, because once we're lower than everybody else, they're not going to keep going lower. They're going to turn it into what? higher margins and bigger IBV and BV. You understand where it's going? And it's happening. And it's happening faster than ever. But the more we share it and the faster we share it, the faster these companies are going to want to bring all their margin and pour them on top of this company, which fills up the banks of every single one of our pockets. And then the people are going to be begging you to get in. The same ones that told you that thing ain't never going to work. Right? And then nothing stops it. It's a snowball effect that will not be stopped. So, with people power, the power numbers, the referral tracking system, the compensation plan, and Shop.com Advantage, its time has come and it really can't be stopped. Whether we do it or not, hey, everybody, it's going to happen. So I'm not stopping because I'm going to be a part of it, and I hope you are too. Okay? But you got, listen, you got to get excited. You have to be ready for it. You have to be if somebody came up to me and says, man, I want to show you something. It's kind of cool. It's the largest shift in money in the entire world ever. I think you might be interested. You know, and you like, what? It makes no sense. I'm telling you about something that can be a life changer for so many people, but yet you're talking to them like your dog just died. You understand what I mean? You got to go out and share the vision, and if you're not that excited, do something to get there. Find two people that need something, that are going to go crazy in this thing, and share that vision, and watch what happens to your attitude automatically. You find some excited people that are willing to do anything it takes, guess what will happen to you? Same thing, right? I mean, the power, that when we walk in this room, right? When we walk in this room, for the rest of the day, when we bring Dr. Ed and Norma back up, there should be a buzz that we just can't wait. I remember early on, Roy, I remember, Brian, I'm sure you remember this, I remember early on in the business, where we're sitting there in seminars, but we couldn't wait to get up and go talk to people. I felt like I was wasting my time at seminars simply because I needed to go out and show the plan to 3 more people. Because I'm worried that I'm going to miss it. You got to get to that point now, because that is where we're at. It's more powerful now than it was 27 years ago. You just got to buy into it, believe it, and go out and share it with people. Okay? And that's where we're at. So keep it going, okay? So it becomes a willable asset, by the way. It becomes a willable asset. You can turn this on. You can share this with people. And when it gets to that tipping point, nobody quits ever. Because they'd have to be a complete fool to give up a residual income, or to buy from a place that's not going to pay them instead of buying a place that will. And also buy from a place that charges them retail instead of buying from a place that charges them wholesale. You understand? It just gets so obnoxiously obvious that people can't leave. We get them in deeper than they can get out. How many people understand what Jared says now? Yeah. Okay, it's coming. You have to have the vision to know it's coming. It's going to come faster than you think. Wow, it's incredible. So it's a willable asset. All right. The reality of it is it's money you're already spending. So why not convert your spending into earning? You guys get it? Every single one of us spends money to live. But up until now, or up until this opportunity, and up until you made a change, see, you might be in the business for a while, but all you do is do your auto ship every month. Because that's the minimums that you have to do to accrue your volume to get your checks. But you're not finding a way every single day to buy things from yourself that give you huge return on investments from the exclusive products and the super IBV and the shopping Annuity products, right? Because it's a change, and people don't like what? They don't like change a lot of times. But if you make the change, all of a sudden your income explodes because your people want to do what you do, not what you say. So do you want to have a team that has a maximizing mindset that figures out how to buy everything from themselves? Or do you want to have a team that has a minimum mindset that only buys what they have to accrue their volume, which is smarter? Yeah, a maximizing mindset. On top of that, they experience more products. It gives them more stories to share, which creates more customers, ultimately more partners. It all starts with the simplest thing of buying from yourself at every opportunity you can, and you're already spending the money, so why not convert your spending into earning? Why not do it? You have to just, all it is change your mindset. Just do it, okay? So, the future is a perfect storm, and I kind of alluded to this already, but I want you guys to have some meat because I'm almost done here. I want you to have some meat. I want you to know the math and the facts behind what we're talking about. Like, anybody can come up here and try to hype people up and get you excited. Here's a problem. If I come up here and hype you up and get you excited with no statistics behind it, no facts, no numbers, honestly, all that makes me is a blowhard. Right? Because there's no facts behind it. And all I'm doing is blowing hot air into the room, and it goes away as soon as you walk out. Now, we don't build long-term residual income that way. Right? We don't build long-term residual income that way. We build long-term residual income by talking about what? Business principles that you can't stop. It's a principle of business that creates long-term success. Not short-term, hype-based, like a firework. Or like, how many people remember bottle rockets? Yeah. They make all this noise. Woo, woo, psh, done. How many people want their business to be like that? Not me. Right? I want it to be more like a diesel engine. You know? Especially like when it's a little cold out, right? Some people's life a little cold at some points, right? So it might take a minute you might even have to plug it into a block heater in some areas. Let it warm up before you can even try to start it. And then once you get started, it's running rough. But once them diesel engines start going, as long as you keep giving them fuel, nothing makes them, you can't turn them off. How many people agree? Right? Some of them tractors that are around out here, 100 years old, unstoppable. You see what I mean? And that's what you want your business to be like. All right, so the future really is a perfect storm. So let me give you the facts and the numbers behind this before we bring Dr. Ed and Norma back up to finish up the basic 5. But nonetheless, the future is a perfect storm. You guys have seen this in the UBP and in local seminars. You've seen this stuff, you know? And it's just like, I sometimes want to shake people. Wake up. Because we're in a spot in life where we can change everything for ourselves and our kids and our heirs forever. And here's why. We're not in the front of one good trend right now. We've always been in front of at least one good trend with the company for the last 27 years. But right now we're in the best spot ever because we're in front of 3 major moving trends. Obviously you guys see them up here, but one is retail stores are going away. More square footage closed down in 2018 than ever in the United States history. And obviously that's the first trend, retail stores going away. Are we at the front end of that? Yeah, because we have a way to people from not only buying online, see that? Because the second trend is online retail, like buying online, retail sales. Now people look at that and say, well, we're not the only ones there. We're the only ones there that actually help people buy online, teach other people to do it, and get paid for the rest of their life on it. We absolutely are. It's not just buying online, it's buying online and getting paid the margins from the buying online. Not only what you do, but the team you lead to forever across country borders. You getting it? That's the second thing, retail sales. Third thing is rise in entrepreneurship. You know, when I started in the business 19 years ago, if any of us said we were an entrepreneur, that was a key word or a code word of saying, oh wow, you're unemployed too? I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, you lost your job too? You're unemployed too? Today, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. It's like the cool slogan, you know, buzzword. I have a buddy who literally lives in my town. He bought an old skateboard for 20 bucks. Went on eBay, sold it for 28 bucks. All of a sudden, every single place he talks about himself, he is now an entrepreneur. It's like the cool thing to be, right? But nonetheless, there is a huge rise in entrepreneurship because people realize, because we have technology makes more information available than ever before. Do you realize now? People realize there's no such thing as a safe and secure job. It's like safe, secure job don't belong in the same sentence for 99% of people. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it does, but very, very seldom it does. See, entrepreneurs believe safety and security is completely opposite. See, most people that want to work 45 years and hopefully retire happily ever after, they think it's risky to start a business and become an entrepreneur and safe and secure to have a job. I will tell you right now, I think it's radically risky to rely all your future off of a job. And I think it's the most safe and secure thing to be an entrepreneur and run your own business. As long as you're willing to what? Work. Right? As long as you're willing to work and you know you can work hard enough to make the result, there's nothing risky about being an entrepreneur. Because you can produce and you can create your success. okay? But nonetheless, that's what happened. So there's a huge rise in entrepreneurship. People are starting to learn that faster and faster, and they also realize nobody's going to take care of you better than who? You. No one cares as much about taking care of you as you do. Okay? So that's the third thing. And then the last thing is that one-to-one marketing that's taking over and replacing mass marketing. This is what I just talked about. See, mass marketing isn't working. Let me just tell you the story on how I learned about this. Okay? We're in a unique time in history, and I want to show you where I got these statistics and where I actually was when I heard this. I wasn't even supposed to be in this room. It wasn't for entrepreneurs. It wasn't for business people. It was for huge executives of the Fortune 50 companies. It was an event that was being run by a huge marketing and media company in New York City about a year ago, exactly a year ago. But what happens is, and I'm going to share this with you so you understand it, you can buy into what I'm saying because you see the numbers and the statistics to back it up. The challenge is just if you believe that we're going to be able to take advantage of it, or if it's going to be another company. See, if you don't believe it's us, you should be with whatever company you think it's going to be. But it's going to happen regardless. I just so happen to believe it's going to be who? MarketAmericanShop.com. So, unique time in history. We're in the middle of a huge shift in wealth, and Shop.com's positioned to lead the way. And it's all about where the margins go when the product is purchased. Not the retail margins, that'll never change. That's who sells it. But the marketing margins roll the product go somewhere else today. And here's why. Here's the numbers. Due to technology, okay? Due to technology and the increased effectiveness in the way consumers communicate. So due to technology and the way that consumers communicate today. See, up until 5-10 years ago, the only way people could really learn about a product or service effectively was through marketing ads. Right? Think about it. Like, people watched ads on TV and listened to them on commercials and all that kind of stuff on radio and stuff. The reason why we paid attention to them is because we were curious about products and services that were in the marketplace. Isn't that true? Yeah, it made sense back then. But now, because of technology, we all pretty much have one of what? These. Which on these have little apps like Yelp and Facebook, either peer review sites or social media sites. And we also have ways to communicate like WhatsApp and text messaging. See, technology has made us closer in connection, able to communicate better than ever before, which makes us easier to be able to tell each other about products and services. How do people get that? So I'm at this conference. Listen to this closely. This blew me away. I literally only went because I was curious of what was going on, and I knew it was a bunch of huge executives that I thought could potentially be good prospects. It's the only reason I went. It was $2,500 for the day. Right? It's in New York City. I got up really early and took the train up. It's totally a gamble, right? But I'm like, man, there's got to be executives, big executives. And you gotta understand, the representation that was going to be there was companies like big dogs from Google, Amazon, Pandora, iHeartRadio, the list goes on, Twitter, you know what I mean, like big companies, right? And just so happens that on stage was a little panel, and the two that were speaking, now I was there, again, I was meeting people, it was pretty cool. I loved it, from the networking that I had, the people that I had met, the connections that I had built. But the most magical and most important thing that happened during that session was something that scared every single person in that room and set my hair on fire. I got hair. That's exactly what happened. Amazon was on stage with Google. Google was talking about ads and how the effectiveness of ads are and how Google's making progress on increasing the effectiveness of ads. And the Amazon guy got a little ticked. And he gets up and he goes, we have a major, hold on a minute, we appreciate you. And he says, we do realize that we are Amazon because of Google. Like, they made it through Amazon. They were the first big company. Amazon, like, Google AdWords is what made Amazon what it is today. A lot of people don't know that, but they did, okay? So, but this is what he said. We have a major problem in the marketplace. The largest online retailer in the world at the time, right? Amazon. Major problem. He goes, for years and years and years, you're talking about advertisement. I'm not trying to Rain on your parade, Google, you guys did $102 billion last year. You're doing something good. It's working, but here's a problem. Only 7% of the marketplace today is making buying decisions based upon radio ads, TV commercials, billboards, Google ads, Facebook ads. Only 7% of the entire population makes a buying decision based upon an ad today. That's our problem. He goes, last year collectively, now this was in 2018, reflecting back a year to 2007, to the year prior, which is 2017. He said last year collectively, the big corporations, the big companies collectively, globally spent $573 billion, over $500 billion, to only get 7% of the marketplace to make a buying decision. It's projected for 2018 again. This was in the middle of 2018. So it's projected for this current year to be $607 billion. So you guys know the number was actually 623. It went more than what they thought they were going to spend. So last year was 623 billion. But it's not going to cause any more than 7% of people make a buying decision. See, our problem is we're spending all this money and we're missing 93% of the populations. He said, you know who's making those buying decisions happen? Consumers. They said the consumers hold all the power in their pocket because of this thing right here. And he goes, consumers, if they ever find out they have it all, they change everything and they control everything.
Wow.
Think about that. See, our job is to make consumers aware that they have all the power in their pocket right now. Because 93% of buying decisions is made based upon a peer review, a personal recommendation, a peer review, like from a peer review site, like social, like a Yelp or something, or a social media post. Not a marketing post that says, I love this product, buy it for me, but a social media post saying, I want to know the best pizza place in Harrisburg, go. And everybody likes commenting, right? And where are you going to go? Where the majority of people recommend. See, the consumers hold the power, but yet they're not getting paid on it. They were trying to figure out a way to manipulate consumers to funnel them back through their site instead of doing what we do, and that's involve the consumers in the profits so they have a financial interest to spread the word where their power is more powerful than any ad that can be placed. You guys get that?
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep for days after that. I know that's hard to believe. Right, Nick? Nick will tell you a story on that. One time, listen, I get excited sometimes. I can't sleep. One night, what did I say, Nick? What was it again? What was like late? What did I say to you? You thought it was crazy?
It was 2 in the morning, and he asked me if I wanted to watch The Voice and do curls in religion.
That's exactly right. Hey, you want to watch The Voice and do curls? Yeah. That'll work out. He's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, all right. 15 minutes later, he thought I was joking. I was watching The Voice doing curls. Because sometimes you just get going. And by the way, if you don't buy anything exciting yourself, nobody else is going to. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be real. But when I went to that, I'd have spent 25 grand for that day. Because that's what gets my fire going about this right now. Right? And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So you're either going to watch it happen from the sidelines, or you're going to be a part of it as it goes. But it's how you share that excitement and how you are passionate and persistent enough to make people listen. I don't care if it's for you or not, Bill, but you are not getting off the hook to not listen. Ben, right Ben? Ben used to park behind people's car and wouldn't let them pull out of their driveway until he showed them the plans. Right? So you gotta believe in it. And by the way, they all love him for it now.
Yeah.
Right, Carol?
Right.
I'm telling you. I do, I'm glad he did. To my sponsor. So due to technology, 7%, so it's 93%, you guys get it. Peers control it, but they don't know it yet. It's our job to let them know. And it's our job to make sure they're getting paid for it, okay? That's really what it comes down to. So companies are changing for the first time ever. For the first time ever, companies are actually open to reallocate those ad dollars because they know it's not working. That's why you have companies like Walmart, all these different stores that are willing to give us a piece of their margins that they would have spent on advertisement, but give it to the company to put in IBV plans. They know it's more effective. Our numbers just aren't big enough to make it valid enough for them to put all of their margin on top of us, but it's coming. And this is just tells them we're digital. So with digital aggregation, collective consumer influence, and the revolutionary tracking system that we have, this is all how this is done. Shop.com can capture the margins that would have been used in advertisement, but then inject them back into the compensation plan and pay the people that are actually creating the demand and business through immediate retail profit, volume-based commissions through building a network of others who sell products or services, and that whole network buying from themselves, which is called the shopping annuity. Does everybody get that? All right, so let me wrap this all together. You get these eyes up here. So again, the company's tracked it to infinity. You guys all know this. But something amazing and different is happening. And by the way, I just want, again, I'm going to sell you a little more on this because I want you to follow it. I mean, it's just, because some of you still look like you had a bad night. I'm like shaking up here because I'm like, I want to head out and like go show the plan again. Just so you guys know, I just want you to know, some of us say it, some of us do. I just want to tell you something. Literally, in the last 8 weeks, I just sponsored my 9th person yesterday. In the last 8 weeks, I don't want you to clap. I'm just going to tell you, y'all should be doing the same thing because I know what's coming. Right? And you just got to buy new too. And you won't be able to stop getting people to look. Okay? But look at this. And by the way, nobody would have believed any of this stuff was going to happen before it did. But now, if you all had a chance to get a founder share Uber, who would have done it? Y'all would have done it. But if 10 years ago, somebody would have said, there's going to be a company that's going to provide more taxi service than any company in the world, but they're never going to own one taxi. You would have thought they were smoking crack. Right? You would have thought they were nuts. But yet now the largest taxi company in the world owns no cars. Who would have thought that if a publicist, like, talk to Frank and Sue, right? Ran a publishing company. If I would have went to them 20 years ago and told them the largest publisher of content in the world would produce no content themselves, they would have smacked me out of their building. Right? To try to get them to invest in a company called Facebook. Or at the time it was called The Facebook. Now it's the largest producer of content in the world. They created none of it themselves. The largest hotel accommodations provider in the world owns no real estate. Who would have believed that would have happened 10 years ago? Nobody. And the same exact thing. The world's first platform that actually tracks collective consumer influence for the profit of the consumer instead of the profit of the shareholders or the big dogs. Creates entrepreneur influence and then reallocates the margins back in the pockets of the consumers instead of putting the margins in the pockets of the executives that are worth billions already. If somebody would have told you that, you'd be like, no way would a company ever do that. It's happening. And you have your chance to lead the way with it. And this is exactly the place that's going to be, because things interesting happen all the time. And you're not going to believe it until you either believe it or until you see it. I prefer you believe it first because then you could be at a pioneering position with it, okay? So anyway, that's that. But you want the right place at the right time, with the right company. Everybody spends money to live. There's a rise in entrepreneurship, and one-to-one marketing is replacing this mass media marketing, so get your share financially, okay? So how do we fund this as I wrap this up? How do we fund the shopping annuity? I'm not going to spend all kinds of time on this, because I know Dr. Ed and Norm are going to talk about our products and in the retail segment that they're about to start here. But how do we fund it? What's the plan? The shopping annuity funding plan is like this. Okay? This is the 4 steps to build your shopping annuity. And I'm going to give you guys an analogy that I hope will make you never screw this up, because I screwed it up when it first came out. And I know 99% of you screwed it up too. You know why I know? Because I remember training you on it. Remember the time we were here, we were doing this shopping annuity thing, and I'm like, bah, you know. I didn't understand it. I don't think anybody in the company understood it but JR at one point. But I get it. Here's the deal. The shopping annuity begins with each UFO completing the home shopping list.
Yep, come on.
It starts with the home shopping list. And then step 1 is you create BV with our exclusive products, That's step 1. Then after you fill your entire household with BV producing products, You figure out multiple uses for the BV products. Even if it's not the primary use, you want to get as much usage of your life in BV products. Why? Because it's the largest return on investment. BV products have about 75 to 85% of the wholesale price in BV that goes in the commission plan. Versus a partner store price that from Walmart might be 2%. Now, if I wanted you to put money into an investment, right, if I'm your financial advisor, right, and I say, there's two funds. One fund, you can put your money in and get an 80% return on your investment. Another fund, you can put your money in and get a 2% return on your investment.
Come on.
Which one are you going to put it in? Please tell me. 80% every time. I know it's a stupid question, but I'm just waking you up. More. So it starts with BV products. Then you go to the next thing, the 40 or 50% return on investment. That is our Super IBV and Shopping Annuity brand products. Then and only then do you fill in the gaps with the partner stores and shop local stores. Then and only then. See, here's the analogy I use, and then you teach your team to do the same thing. Here's the analogy. I have a contractor background. I'm a construction worker background. I always relate this thing to finishing the inside of a room that I just got done framing and insulating. So, the house is framed and it's insulated. There's 3 steps left to do to make this place livable. And really only the first 2 steps really even need to be done to make it livable. The third one just makes it look pretty. So the first thing is, I got my sheetrock, or I got the sheetrock sitting. The first step of that room, after insulation's up, is I gotta do what? I gotta put up the drywall. Drywall is the BV products. How many people understand this? Got it? Drywall, drywall, put it all up. Now, could I, as Ben did, live in a home that just had drywall, right? But didn't have spackle and paint? Could I live in that house?
Yeah.
Could I live comfortably in the house?
Yeah.
Would it really change the quality of my living?
No.
No. It just won't look as pretty. Right? So, but that's where you start. You have to get all the drywall up first. Everything you can use from the exclusive products for their primary uses and any other alternative uses. BV products first. Then once you know and ask your senior partners, we'll help you. Pick them. Then after you fill the entire room up with sheetrock, then what are we going to do? Then we're going to start spackling. The spackling tape, that's the Super IBV and the Shopping Annuity branded products. Does everybody get that? Right now this will insulate it better. Right? It does help the effectiveness of the quality of living for sure. But it's not, can you spackle and tape before, ever at all, before you put up the sheetrock?
No.
No. You could try, but could you imagine how much spackle it would take to try to fill in between the studs before you put sheetrock up? I mean, could you do it eventually? Maybe. It would be messy. It wouldn't work, and you couldn't have that much spackle. But I see people trying to do that with Shopping Annuity. Doesn't work. And then after so the sheetrock first, then you spackle and tape, then and only then. Now listen to me, then and only then are you going to fill in the gaps with the partner stores. That's painting. It's going to make it look prettier. It'll make your quality of life a little bit better, right? But you can't do that until you do the sheetrock and fill that up first, and then do the partner stores. Everybody understand the difference? Yes. So if somebody says to me, I run the Facebook group called Maximizing Your Shopping Annuity Tips and Strategies. There are like 11,000 people on there, and I will tell you, I have people that post up, and they say, a picture, Nick, and it says, I just funded my shopping annuity and my team got paid. It's a picture of Tide that they got from Walmart, and I want to smack them in the face. Because they did, because that's not, they just ripped themselves off. They stole from themselves. They just got 2% return on investment instead of like 70%. They just got 35 times less volume. That's not very smart. Right? And you gotta be honest enough to people and share it with them. Right? So that's that, and then we duplicate it with our team. So it starts with our exclusive product. How many people does that make sense to?
Yes.
This is the reason why the shop, by the way, what's so great about the product, and why do you think the company changed the Shopping Annuity Master Member Program? Why do you think they changed it from $1,500 BV and $3,000 spent through your shopping site to $1,500 BV and $300 IBV instead? Because they want you to focus on what? The highest return on your investment. And then they came out with the IBV products that have 40-50% IBV ratios instead of only 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're going to come up with more and more and more and more of those. The Shopping Annuity brand, and then I'm going to wrap up and bring you guys up. The Shopping Annuity brand product, so you guys know, that's identical for our company. That great value is to Walmart. How many people know what I'm talking about? You go into a Walmart, great value. See, Walmart has they have shelf space filled up with all these companies that spend all this marketing dollars letting you know that they exist. But because you're in their store, Walmart doesn't have to advertise for you to buy their brand. They just have to put their brand near somebody else's. And now the margins that would have been spent on advertisement are profit to Walmart. That's why they can be a little bit cheaper, but they make more money on those than they do when you buy anything else. You go into Target, you see Archer. That's Target's brand. You go into Costco, you see what? Kirkland. See, y'all are shopping too much at Costco. I know. You go into Sam's Club, you see Sam's Choice. You understand what I'm saying? That's our Shopping Annuity brand stuff, and those margins go back. That's why the IBV can be 30, 40, 50, or better percent in the compensation plan, okay? So that's that. So that's the funding amount, okay? And that's it. So it all starts with what? BV first. It's ROI centric. What is going to give you the highest return on investment? And I'm going to wrap up with this. This just shows you, don't buy Mac, buy Motos. Don't buy Tide, buy Snap. Don't buy Centra, buy Essetons. Don't buy Clinique, buy Luminative. And don't worry about price, for goodness sakes. See, I always tell people, I had a guy one time in my business come to me and say, hey, listen, you don't understand, Don, I'm the cheapest guy you know. How many people have a friend that ever said that today? I'm the cheapest guy you know. And I said, I like to challenge how cheap you really are. I'm the cheapest guy you know. I said, okay, let's challenge it. Let's challenge it. How much money do you spend? And he's in the business. And by the way, getting checks. This drives me nuts when this happens. He's in the business, and he says, Don, you'll understand. I can go to the dollar store and buy this stuff and be cheaper, a little cheaper. I said, okay, I agree with that. How much money do you think you're saving? So he figured it out. And on like a handful of things that he buys every month, he saved $47 for the month. 47 bucks. So in his eyes, he thinks he's so cheap that he saved 47 bucks because he bought dollar store stuff instead of our product. Take out of consideration that those products are way less healthy, way more risk of health problems, right, Dr. Head?
That's right.
Right? But even take that out of it, they're less quality, and he thinks he saved 47 bucks. Now, on the surface he did, but guess what? I said, let's use my team for an example. If my whole team did what you're doing and didn't do that, my money would be a certain amount. And they would all do that if that's what I did. If I just said, I'm going to be as cheap as I can, they would do that. That's what I felt like. Seriously. But what happens is, now, what will my increase in income be? For my team now, if everybody each month just bought those things. Now, you think it would save me 47 bucks. My income would increase in that month. If my whole team just bought those 5 or 6 products that saved you 47 bucks, it was probably 8 or 9, but you get the idea. It would make me $3,900 to $4,500 more dollars. It would, so you think you're cheap at saving 47 bucks, but you are losing thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah, come on.
If you decide to build a business. See, here's my biggest recommendation. You don't have to look at price because of how much money you're going to get back for doing this will dwarf how much it's going to save you in that month. Don't step over $100 bills just to pick up pennies. Does that make sense? Okay? And that's what I have for you guys in the shopping video. You guys enjoy? Yeah. Good segment? All right. One challenge for you guys. Here's the challenge. Everybody should look to become a Shopping Annuity Master member. Utilize all of our exclusive brands, right? BV with our brands. This is a bunch of our brands. IBV with the Shopping Annuity brand of products, plus all of the Super IBV products, right? We have all these here, right? Super IBV and BV products, right? All the higher, and then fill in the gap. I don't got to show you how to use this partner stores. You're doing that every day anyway. Then use like shop local to fill in the gaps, and then your partner stores for the last little bits of gaps here, okay? So what we're gonna wrap this up with is this. And you have some of these partner stores, it's just, you're using them anyway. This is not even cool anymore. It's been cool for a long time. Right? I mean, it just is what it is. But these companies are gonna start doing this. If we all do this together collectively, we're gonna change the business completely. We're gonna have more excitement and more passion about the explosion of this business than we've ever seen before. It's gonna make what we did early, Ben, look like we were sitting still. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And you're either gonna be here as a part of it, or you're gonna watch from the sidelines, but those companies are gonna pour massive amounts of money on this company. And it just becomes a force multiplier. Let me just get to this last slide here. It's your choice. You can continue to spend money, make other companies and people money, or you can prefer your spending and earning with the shopping annuity and help make yourself money. Which one you prefer? Which one do you prefer? Which one you guys doing? You gonna buy from yourself? Are you gonna stop? Are you gonna stop stepping over pennies and pick up? Are you gonna stop stepping over $100 bills to pick up pennies or $1,000 checks to pick up a couple cents? Right? Here's how you're gonna do it. Become a Shopping Annuity Master member. Talk to the senior partner that brought you here. If you're brand new, decide to be a Shopping Annuity Master member from the get-go. You know what? It'll be easiest for you because you don't have to overcome the stinking thinking that some of us have because we've been around too damn long. You know what I mean? Right? You just got to go out and do it and then teach us. The brand new, the guests that are in the room, the brand new people that are in the room, teach us how to do it. Us watching you is going to make us get off our butt and do it too. Make sense? Okay? So become a Shopping Annuity Master.